Right now at 5, Joplin's Dream Troupe Theater prepares to put on its latest production.
And it's another pretty cold start for us today, but warmer weather's on the way, rain's on the way. We'll talk about both of those coming up.
And millions of geese descend upon a Missouri wildlife refuge.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's cold again this morning. I'm sure you've noticed going outside today.
Yeah, my car said 21
wind
degrees.
is really gusting out there out of the north. And when that gust hits, I really should have gassed up my car yesterday because I was regretting putting gas in it this morning. It was pretty miserable outside. Taking a look at the MoDOT camera from 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, and you can see that it looks okay, but what we can't see is how cold it is outside. So let's find out how cold it is. It's that cold, 23, but with that northeast breeze at 10, it's making it feel like 12 outside, and it is cold across the entire area. 18 Iola Yates Center, 21 Chanute, 25 Chatopa Miami, 24 Neosho, 23 in Carthage, and even with a light breeze, it feels like 5 Yates Center, Iola, 4 in Fort Scott, 15 Miami, Neosho. So it is a bitterly cold start to the day. We will warm up again like we did yesterday, a little quicker than we did yesterday as well, as we'll get back into the upper 20s, lower 30s across the area. But it'll be cloudy. We'll have some occasional wind gusts out there. Then as we head into the afternoon, we're watching showers building in. Say around the 1, 2 o'clock hour, we'll start to see scattered showers across the area. But again, a pinch warmer as we make it up to 42. As we head into this evening, we're going to drop back down to 34, so not nearly as cold. We'll see those showers, that light cold rain hanging on through about 8, 9 o'clock before we'll just simply be cloudy for the overnight hours. Now we're still watching the shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into Sunday into Monday. We'll talk more about those a little later. Evening showers, afternoon showers today, tomorrow. Same on Sunday. Some evening showers before the storms that aren't even related. And then we're watching those thunderstorm chances Monday morning. But check out temperatures up to 54 tomorrow, 63 on Sunday. We're hanging out in the mid-60s all the way through Wednesday. When we get another taste of winter, we drop back down to 42 by next Thursday. Could possibly see a wintry mix. But in the short term, we're keeping an eye on these thunderstorm chances. And here in a few minutes, we'll talk more about those storm chances. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Now, Pittsburgh kicks off a citywide cleanup initiative led by Mayor Dr. Ron Sigley. Residents, organizations, and community leaders sat in groups and were told to think of ideas and solutions to improve pit. Animal control, homeless management, and better trash disposal were the biggest talking points from all groups.
Well, I guess one thing I did write on a sticky note was whenever you have a clean community, when people that live here and when people come to visit, they will literally point out, wow, this is a clean community. I mean, I do that whenever I go places. And I just think that's one of the best compliments your city can get.
City of Pittsburgh is planning another discussion next month. We'll have more on this in our 6 o'clock show. Joplin's Dream Theater Troupe is preparing for its latest production, Firebringer. It's a comedy set at the dawn of humanity, focused on a tribe of cave people trying to survive. One of the tribe members goes on a quest to become the Firebringer.
She is an inventor in caveman times. She's very ambitious. She only wants to move forward and be lazy rather than do all the hard work that being a caveman entails. Things go a little wrong for her, but she picks it up at the end.
Performances of Firebringer will be on March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, starting at 7:30 p.m. At 7 p.m., excuse me. 7:30. General admission tickets will cost $20. The performance is for mature audiences only. It's National FFA Week, and McDonald County schools are celebrating with a luncheon. FFA formerly stood for Future Farmers of America, although they don't go by that so much anymore. On Thursday, FFA students were treated to a lunch in the high school ag building to thank them all for their hard work.
We like to see them come up, and we like to see them in big groups, and we like to see them come together. So, you know, there's a few activities that we have where we get to see most of our kids come together in one area at one time. and this is one of them. This is a cool day.
All this week, FFA students have been taking part in different dress-up events, including a flannel shirt day, dress up as their future career, and wearing all blue. Well, Thursday was Wood Product Manufacturing Day in the Kansas Technology Center at Pitt State. The event is hosted by the university's Wood Tech program. The event features company presentations, industry networking, and product showcasing. It's a way to connect students with employers in the field for internships and jobs.
Well, recruitment of getting students here to our facility has been more of a struggle than getting jobs for our students. This is just a very small portion of the companies that are wanting to recruit our students. We have students that are companies that call, email constantly and recruit our students. So the students have lots of opportunities once they graduate here.
The event also introduces high school students to the industry and shows available career opportunities. Millions of snow geese have descended on a Missouri wildlife refuge. The Loess Bluff National Wildlife Refuge, just north of Kansas City, has become the temporary home to millions of snow geese. I do not believe this is the correct video, making their way north as spring approaches. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, over 1 million of the birds landed at the refuge last week. That number doubled a week later. At Loess Bluff, the snow geese often swirl in unison as they descend upon the prairie wetland. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, yesterday was the state wrestling finals. We'll have how Chanute wrestlers did with Chris in sports. Plus, a high school junior in Maine makes history as she becomes the first female athlete to win a state wrestling competition. And how sleeping poorly puts you at risk for heart disease as you get older. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, yesterday was state championship day for girls high school wrestling in Kansas. In the small school state tournament in Salina, we have some local individuals and teams bringing home some hardware.
Hasn't stood for Future Farmers of America since
Chanute has freshman Kylie Dillow here, wrestling for third against Hannah Simmers from Atchison County. And this one turned out to be a big one. First period, takedown gets Dillow a 2-0 lead. Second period now, it's 3-0, and the freshman gets 2 more with another takedown. And that was all she needed. Dillow runs out the clock and wins a 5-0 decision. She takes third, and that win clinched the state title for Chanute as a team before the finals even started. Her teammate Brinley Bancroft in the finals at 155 pounds, facing defending champion Allison King from Oskaloosa. Reversal for King early in the second round for a 2-0 lead, and eventually that leads to this. King wins by pin for back-to-back titles, so Bancroft finishes as state runner-up for Chanute. Columbus has 2 girls in the finals. Grace Knoll at 100 pounds facing undefeated Sheena Gosella from Winfield. Quick takedown for Gosella, then she nearly has Knoll pinned toward the end of the first period. Gosella would get the win by fall in the second period to finish an undefeated season. So Grace Knoll, the 100-pound state runner-up for Columbus. 120 pounds, Addie Saporito for Columbus faces 2-time defending champion Kendra Hurla out of Rossville. Saporito early takedown for 2 points. Hurla responds with a quick escape, then a takedown of her own to take the lead. After losing a hold, Saporito ties it back up at 4 with her second takedown. This one was a great one, but Hurla wins a 9-5 decision for her third straight championship. Saporito is the runner-up at 120 pounds. It's her third consecutive state medal. Erie's Brianna Ross ranked first here, but Chapman freshman Alyssa Kolovich takes the lead 2-0, 40 seconds in. Ross would break for an escape point to end the round, but that 2-1 score holds. It's a runner-up finish for Erie's Brianna Ross. It's his third individual state championship. Also for the Seneca boys, Andrew Manley picks up a second-place finish. On the girls' side, Faith James for Cassville, second place at 130 pounds. Then we have another state champ in Seneca with Isabella Renfro claiming the Class 1 title at 190 pounds. This week is the final week of the regular season for Pitt State and Missouri Southern basketball. Both are in action on the road for conference doubleheaders. A PSU in Emporia taking on the Emporia State Hornets. On the women's side, the girls series after beating ESU by 21 in Pittsburgh in January. Pitt State wins by 10, 70-60. Freshman Harper Schreiner scores 17 to lead PSU. Corinna Gerber and Tristan Gegg also in double figures. After that one, the Pitt State men hit the floor against the Hornets, trying for back-to-back wins for the first time since November. Check this out. R.J. Forney gets a layup in the final seconds to give the Gorillas a 1-point win, 68-67. Forney gets 19. Marquis English another double-double with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Missouri Southern Lions, they're in Topeka taking on the Washburn Ichabods. On the women's side, Missouri Southern enters the night ranked 6th in the Central Region with a 22-6 overall record. They beat Washburn by 16 when the two teams met in Joplin back in January. Southern rolls again, 71-56. Big night for sophomore guard Mia Topping. She scores a career-high 23 points. The Missouri Southern men face the Ichabods after that. Southern, a tough night, falling 84-65. Sam Thompson leads the Lions with 15 points. Well, still to come, today marks the one-year anniversary of Russia invading Ukraine. We'll take a closer look at the conflict. And we've got another check of your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. A cold start for us across the area. Live look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. At least roads and stuff are clear. We're not dealing with any wintry precipitation, but we are dealing with wintry temperatures. 23 in Joplin, feeling like 12 with a northeast breeze at about 10 miles an hour. Taking a look at temperatures across the region, we're down to 18 Yates Center, Iola, 21 Chanute, 25 Chautauqua, Miami, 24 Neosho, 23 Carthage. And you factor in even just a light breeze this morning, feels like 4 in Fort Scott, 5 in Iola and Yates Center, 13 Columbus, 15 in Neosho and Miami. So a very chilly start this morning. We will warm a little quicker than what we did yesterday, up into the upper 20s and lower 30s by about 11 o'clock. Will remain cloudy. We'll have still some breezy conditions out there. We're not talking super gusty, but breezy for sure. As we head into the afternoon, though, we're going to start to see showers move in, and it might be a bit of a cold rain, but the good news is we should be warm enough that it will be rain. It will be water falling, not snow, not sleet, not ice, or anything like that. We're up to 42 for our high today. As we head into this evening, not as cold. Showers hanging on through about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. They'll taper off. We'll eventually drop down to 34. That should not say 28, but that's okay. You understand. We're going to make it down to 34 for our overnight low. We've got our shower chances as we head through this afternoon into the early evening. Tomorrow, we start to get a little bit warmer. We're still cloudy. Maybe some evening showers again on Saturday. Then Sunday, we got the possibility of a few stray showers early in the evening, and then it's this that we're watching. Still looking at a pretty good shot of severe weather. It's now been more concentrated across central Oklahoma, and these storms will eventually make their way toward us. Still looking at about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning Monday morning. It's still a question as to whether or not they'll be able to hold their own when they get here. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center believes that they might. So as we head into Sunday, we do have an elevated risk for those severe storms for those in the yellow and a lower risk for those in the green. And as you can see, it's a good chunk of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and just clipping southwest Missouri. So we will continue to keep an eye on these storms as we get closer to Sunday night, Monday morning. But just be aware that as of now, there's still a chance that they could hold their own as we get into Monday morning. So up to 54 tomorrow, so much better. 63 Sunday. Then we've got 65 Monday, even with those morning storms, holding on to the mid-60s through Wednesday. And then by Thursday, we get another little wintry blast down to 42 for the high. And we might even see some showers, maybe even a light wintry mix as we head into our Thursday of next week. Well, high school junior in Maine has made history doing what no other female athlete has done. She won a state wrestling championship. Jim Keithley introduces us to 16-year-old Maddie Ripley.
And here she is on Saturday, all 106 pounds of her, getting down on the wrestling mat. a junior at Oceanside High School in Rockland. Maddie is the only girl on the wrestling team. Maddie has become the first girl in Maine to win an individual state title while wrestling a boy, and she did it all in 1 minute and 44 seconds as she pinned Nick Allen of Wells during Saturday's finals at the Class B Championships. How did she do it?
I put his arm over his head and then put him on his back like a chicken wing. It's like where you have an arm like this, and I just walked around the head.
How exhilarating that win must have been as she jumped in the arms of her coach to celebrate.
Felt really good. Didn't feel real. I was like just blown away.
Her coach, Jason Yates, just so happens to be her stepdad, too.
Felt amazing, you know, and it's more than just that moment. It's the years of hard work that went into that. It feels special anytime one of your athletes achieves something like that, but when it's your own kid, it feels 100 times better.
That anyone can do it if you put the work in. And I mean, I started young. I didn't miss a practice. You just gotta dedicate yourself.
Cheering her on every step of the way, her twin brother, Gavin, who's also a wrestler, and her training partner. And, Gavin won a state title, too, on Saturday in his weight class.
I think she's a little more competitive than me. I think that's one thing she has over me. She never likes to lose.
And let's not forget about Mom. She's the one behind the cell phone, capturing the moment on video for the world to see.
Maddie says she wants to keep wrestling and hopes to become a nurse someday. And that brings us to our question for you. What's something you've always wanted to accomplish? You want to travel the world, master a new skill, publish a novel, volunteer or donate more often, pay off some debt, get a new car, live in a foreign country? Boy, there's a lot of options. And if those don't fit you, you can also vote for something else that might fit. Well, we definitely want to hear from you on this. Why don't you share what you'd like to do by voting on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also vote through the KOAM News Now app and participate in the discussion on our Facebook page. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, an RSV vaccine could be available to use by this August. Pharmaceutical company Pfizer's new developed vaccine was made to prevent critical cases of the virus. Research shows RSV is the highest cause for infant hospitalizations. A single vaccine dose given to pregnant women will protect infants from birth to 6 months old. In an effort to speed up the review process before RSV's peak season, Food and Drug Administration is reportedly set to approve the first vaccine of its kind by late summer. Researchers suggest people over 40 who exercise regularly may have a better chance of staying out of the hospital. A study published by JAMA Network Open shows those who exercised regularly avoided health conditions such as pneumonia, stroke, and diabetes. Researchers say people middle-aged and older who had 20 minutes of daily physical activity could cut the risk of hospitalization by anywhere from 4 to 23%. Researchers added physical activity was not specifically responsible for the findings, but it was linked to a protective effect. Well, a new study finds irregular sleep can lead to a higher risk for heart disease in older age. The study, published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, reported participants who slept at varying times were more likely to develop hard arteries compared to those who consistently slept at the same time. Out of the more than 2,000 study participants, those with better sleep patterns were found with clearer arteries, which reduces the risk for heart attacks and strokes as age increases. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another cold start for us across the area. We'll be cloudy. We've got some showers coming in and thunderstorms later in the weekend. We'll talk about all of that coming up.
Right now at 5:30, the state of Missouri looks to ban everyone from texting and driving, no matter their age.
And it's another cold start for us across the region today, but warmer temperatures are on the way. Rain is also on the way. We're going to break down all of that coming up.
Dr. Freeman Hospital saves another employee's life due to his quick reaction.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is cold yet again across the area. I mean, one thing to keep in mind, even though we're we're starting to see a few more mild days out there. We are technically still in winter. It is still February, so we've got to expect a shot of cold air every so often, but the good news is we are inching closer to spring. MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. It looks okay. It's pretty clear. The thing it can't show you is how cold it is, but that's why we have our current conditions over the camera at 7th and Range Line. We're sitting at 23 in Joplin. Feels like 12, though, as we start our day with a northeast breeze at 10. Across the area, man, it is cold. Look at this, 18 Iola, 19 Yates Center, 21 Chanute, Neodesha, 25 in Miami, Neosho, 23 Carthage, 22 in Lamar. And you factor in even a light breeze, and it feels like 6 in Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, and Yates Center. Feels like 11 in Parsons, 14 Miami, and Neosho. So it is a bitterly cold start to the day. Now, we will warm up a little quicker than we did yesterday into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the morning, and we will remain cloudy. And then we'll see the opportunity for some showers later this afternoon, say around 1, 2 o'clock. And these are going to be scattered. We're not just talking widespread rain, but there will be quite a few of these scattered showers, but we'll make it up to 42. So a pinch warmer, and where we made it yesterday. I need to fix this, but we're going to drop back down to 34 for our overnight low. Showers continue till about 8, 9 o'clock, and then after that, we're going to start to warm up heading into the weekend. We're still watching those thunderstorm chances Sunday night into Monday. Evening showers tomorrow, 54. Evening showers, late evening showers Sunday, 63. We're watching the possibility of some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms early Monday morning, say 3, 4 o'clock. We'll make it up to 65, mid-60s through the middle of the week. We get into Thursday, another blast of cold air. We get down to 42, maybe a wintry mix, maybe a morning mix Friday, 45. But as we head into next weekend, the warmer temperatures will return. Tanya?
Thanks, Chris. Drivers in Missouri could soon be banned from texting while driving, no matter their age. The Missouri Senate has advanced a bill that would ban drivers, regardless their age, from reading, sending, or writing a text by handheld devices. Currently, any drivers under 21 years old are not allowed to use their phones and can be stopped and given a citation. This ban would not apply to law enforcement or people using hands-free voice-activated mode.
There's no text that's so important that it's worth giving up your life for. You know, we've seen those. We've seen fatal car crashes, and we've seen what the last message was on their phone, and it's never worth dying for.
Was approved with bipartisan support in the Senate Transportation, Infrastructure, and Public Safety Committee. It goes next to the full Senate for debate and vote. Well, the mayor of St. Louis is criticizing a circuit attorney over an accident that left a teen with critical injuries. 17-year-old Janae Edmondson was hit by a car in the city's downtown Saturday night. Authorities say the suspect was out on bond on gun-related charges in a separate case. Now, he was originally scheduled to go on trial in January, but that trial was delayed. The mayor says
This incident and others have highlighted the fact that some improvements need to be made in her office. And she really needs to do some soul searching on whether or not she wants to continue as circuit attorney because she's lost the trust of the people.
In a statement, the circuit attorney's office accused some of, quote, choosing the facts to take advantage of this situation for their own selfish motives. They added, quote, this is not the time for finger pointing. It's time to support this family and ensure that justice is served, unquote. Quick response time of a doctor at Freeman Health System saved the life of another employee. Freeman Health System shares this story in recognition of American Heart Month. KOAM's Shagun Bamadale has more.
When Rick Moore, the capital acquisition coordinator for Freeman Health System, was feeling anxious, lightheaded, and suffering from acid reflux pain, he drove to Freeman Urgent Care in Webb City to get checked out.
Took some medicine and nothing, it didn't go away, it didn't subside, only it got worse. And that was around noon, so about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, as the pain is progressing, I'm getting a chest pain in my shoulder blade, kind of lightheaded.
After an EKG at the clinic, the doctor told him he was having a heart attack. Specifically, Moore was in the early stages of a deadly heart attack. His heart's main left arteries were fully blocked.
I wake up in intensive care and I'd had 2 stents. I had a 100% blockage, a 90% blockage, and a balloon in another artery.
Dr. Darwin Gerayaj says Moore's heart stopped beating.
So one good option under those circumstances is to just cough. So we turn around to Rick and say, Rick, can you please cough? And he's staring at me like, why is he asking me to cough? But after a while, he started coughing.
The doctor says Moore deciding to get checked out ultimately saved his life.
But in Rick's case, he was here so quick, and we had fixed everything very fast, so his recovery was really instant.
Reporting in Joplin, Segun Bamdele, KOAM News.
Only 12% of people who suffer a widowmaker heart attack outside the hospital survive. This morning, we're discussing accomplishing things in life.
Yeah, here she is on Saturday, all 106 pounds of her getting down on the mat, on the wrestling mat. A junior at Oceanside High School in Rockland, Maddie is the only girl on the wrestling team. Maddie's become the first girl in Maine to win an individual state title while wrestling a boy, and she did it all in 1 minute and 44 seconds as she pinned Nick Allen of Wells during Saturday's finals at the Class B Championships.
Now, how did she do it? Well, she held his arm over his head and then put him on his back like a chicken wing. With the support of her family behind her, Maddie feels like she can do anything.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's something that you've always wanted to accomplish? We have a large variety of options. So far, 29% of you say you'd like to pay off debt. 29% of you say something not on our list. 14% for travel the world, master a new skill, and to volunteer or donate more. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, some waterlogged cacti risk toppling over due to high winds and extra weight.
Plus, 2 cat owners are reunited with their beloved pets as animals continue to get rescued out of buildings in Turkey that were hit by devastating earthquakes. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping a world watch, North Korea says it test-fired long-range cruise missiles in the waters off its eastern coast on Thursday. The test firing is the latest action in a provocative streak in weapons demonstrations carried out by the North. It came as North Korea's rivals have stepped up their military training. The United States and South Korea just held a simulated military exercise in Washington. It was aimed at sharpening their response to North Korea's nuclear threats. North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency says Thursday's launches were aimed at verifying the reliability of the missiles and the rapid response capabilities of the unit that operates those weapons. A bridge in Crimea reopens Thursday after being damaged last year by an explosion. Russian President Vladimir Putin blamed Ukraine for the damage. With the bridge out of commission, Moscow could not send supplies to Russian troops in the area, slowing their advancement. Now, the bridge is 12 miles in length, stretching across the Kerch Strait. It's an essential link between the annexed Crimean Peninsula and Russia. Landmarks around the world are being lit up to support the brave defenders of Ukraine on the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion. Paris's iconic Eiffel Tower shined with the blue and yellow colors on Ukrainian flag Thursday night. Demonstrators painted the colors on the road outside the Russian embassy in London as a form of protest. Another pro-Ukrainian vigil was held in Brussels, the headquarters of NATO, on Thursday. And today does mark 1 year since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which triggered the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II. Ian Lee is in London with a closer look at the conflict.
Russian forces expected a quick victory, convinced they could capture Ukraine in days.
The Russian military has begun a brutal assault on the people of Ukraine. Without provocation, without justification, without necessity.
Forces attacked from several directions, on the ground and in the sky. Armored columns pushed toward Kyiv as jets and helicopters blitzed across the border, bombing Ukrainian targets. Russian President Vladimir Putin pointed to history to justify his war, saying, "We will strive to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine." Millions of Ukrainian civilians fled the country, while the West and its allies quickly slapped tough sanctions on Moscow, targeting their economy and energy. Stiff Ukrainian resistance stopped the Russians in their tracks and eventually forced them to flee. They left behind a trail of death and devastation, massacring hundreds of civilians in Bucha. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said these are war crimes and will be recognized by the world as genocide. Fierce fighting around Europe's largest nuclear power plant drew fears of another disaster like Chernobyl.
There has to be a recognition that this nuclear power plant cannot be a military target.
The U.S. and its allies poured billions of dollars of weapons, ammunition, and equipment into the country, helping Ukraine launch a sweeping counteroffensive. Out of desperation, Russia doubled down, mobilizing hundreds of thousands of citizens to stop its crumbling front line. Zelensky traveled to the U.S. to rally support to win the fight.
This struggle will define in what world our children and grandchildren will live.
An ongoing struggle where both sides see victory as the only option. Ian Lee, CBS News.
The Biden administration has promised to send dozens of its Abrams main battle tank to Ukraine, while European nations are sending in Leopard tanks. United Nations confirms more than 7,000 Ukrainian civilians have died in the conflict, but officials say the actual number is likely much higher. Well, two owners are reunited with their beloved cats in southeastern Turkey after the devastating earthquake. The cats were rescued from a business center in Diyarbakir, and that was set to be demolished after sustaining heavy damage from the earthquake. Animals appear to be in good health. A total of 7 cats were rescued from the building and in the nearby area. After all the animals were removed, the building will be demolished. Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
And we've got ourselves a pretty cold start across the region. Taking a look at the MODOT camera, 20th and range line. Everything is clear, but it is also very cold. How cold is it? Well, current conditions say this. 23 is what the temperature is, but it feels like 12. And that's with the northeast breeze at 10 miles an hour. Across the area, again, quite cold today. 18 Yates Center, Iola, 19 Fort Scott, 22 Pittsburgh Parsons, 25 Miami, 24 Neosho. We're sitting at 22 in Lamar. Now, factor in even just a light breeze. Feels like 4 in Fort Scott and Iola, 6 Nevada, Yates Center, 13 in Columbus. Feels like 11 in Carthage right now. So a very crisp start to our Friday. We will warm up a little more quickly this morning as we get into the upper 20s, lower 30s, similar to yesterday, but just a pinch warmer. We will also be cloudy, and we'll still have those occasional gusts from 15 to 20 miles an hour. We got showers coming in this afternoon. They'll be scattered across the region, so not just a blanket of rain, but they will be numerous scattered showers. By about 2 o'clock, we're up to 42 for our high. Heading into this evening, we're going to drop back down to 34. Showers holding on for the first half of the evening, wrapping up by about 8, 9 o'clock, and then we'll just be cloudy as we go into the overnight. We have warmer weather on the way, which is a good thing, and we'll see some additional showers tomorrow evening, but again, we'll be much warmer. And then as we head into Sunday, we'll be even warmer. We're still cloudy, though, but this is what we're watching. First, unrelated, some showers possible, scattered showers late Sunday evening. Severe thunderstorms are expected out to our west. They're looking at a pretty good shot of some severe weather, especially across parts of central Oklahoma. The question that has been up in the air is whether or not these storms will be able to hold their own as they race off to the northeast and eventually make it to our area, say around 3, 4 o'clock Monday morning. If they can hold their own, we are looking at the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms. If they can't, then we're just looking at some thunderstorms. Now, our friends at the Storm Prediction Center have gone ahead for Sunday, which this is just how things work, so it'd be early Monday morning. They've put an elevated risk of severe thunderstorms for most of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and then clipping extreme southwestern Missouri for Sunday into Monday. So this is something that we're going to keep an eye on over the next few days. There's still a number of changes that could happen But just be aware, we could see some stronger storms as we head into early Monday morning. Between now and then, though, again, temperatures start to warm. 54 tomorrow, 63 by Sunday, 65 on Monday. We're going to stay in the mid-60s and be a bit breezy as we head into Wednesday. And then Thursday is where we start to see another round of, well, it's February and winter weather. Down to 42. For the high, maybe a wintry mix possible, 22 for the low. Then take a look at Friday, maybe a morning mix, 45 down to 32. But as we head into next weekend, the sun comes back and our temperatures return to this nice spring-like feeling as we get back into the mid-50s, maybe even the mid-60s by next Sunday. But again, we'll be keeping an eye in the short term on these thunderstorm chances as we head into late Sunday, early Monday. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Joplin officially opens up nominations for its Historic Preservation Awards. Nominations are accepted in 3 categories: the Leslie Simpson Award, the Jeff and Carolina Neal Award, and the Murfreesburg Award. You can find nomination forms through the city's website. The nominating period is open through March 31st. Well, you may have noticed gas prices in the 4 states dropping recently. AAA credits the drop to the price of a barrel of oil falling into the mid-$70 range. Currently, the Missouri average for a gallon of gas is $3.03. Arkansas sits at $3.04. For Oklahoma, it's $3.07. And for Kansas, the average is $3.11. Alec Baldwin pleads not guilty on Thursday to charges of involuntary manslaughter in the shooting death of a cinematographer on the movie set Rust. The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, is also expected to plead not guilty today. Activist Aaron Brockovich is set to visit Ohio today to meet with local residents affected by the Norfolk Southern train derailment. The National Transportation Safety Board announced it will hold a hearing in East Palestine this spring that will include witnesses. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Some cacti in Arizona are becoming waterlogged, and that extra weight is putting them at risk of falling over in high winds. Danielle Miller has more on this battle between the cacti and the wind.
It is a very windy day here in the valley. It is something that here at the Desert Botanical Garden, they are keeping a very close eye on. A busy day of watching and protecting all of the cacti here at the Desert Botanical Garden. High wind speeds like today are never good for the garden, but especially now, according to Noemi Hernandez Castro. That's because most of the cacti are waterlogged due to the wet summer and now winter.
They've been absorbing a lot of water because they don't know when to stop absorbing it. So you can see it in the cactus that the ribs are being spread out because they're absorbing a lot of water. It's been proved that a cactus like a saguaro can grow up to 16 inches a year just for holding water.
Noemi says they continue to absorb water to prepare for the dry months, and the cacti will eventually use up the water at that time. She's hoping no other cacti fall victim to today's winds.
We've been having a few cactus falling over because of that, and another reason is because most cacti roots are very shallow and they are very spread out. So if they're constrained to a space where the roots cannot spread out, that means that the root system is not going to be able to hold all of this weight that the saguaros are holding because of the water.
Well, if you have cacti at home that are waterlogged, Naomi recommends putting up stakes to support the weight. We'll be right back after this. While it may not have snowed here, some dogs up in Minnesota got to enjoy the winter storms that have been hitting the upper Midwest, as seen in this video. 2 very adorable dogs got to play and burrow themselves in the snow. You can see they enjoyed themselves very much. In honor of Sydney World Pride, penguins at Sea Life Sydney Aquarium took part in a world-first Penguin Pride Parade. In footage released on Thursday, Gentoo and king penguins proudly marched over a replica of the Sydney Arbor Bridge as keepers waved rainbow flags. Sven and Magic, the world-famous male Gentoo penguin couple, even made a special guest appearance, standing under the bridge in prime spectator position. Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras hosted World Pride in 2023, an event which is awarded to a different host city every 2 to 3 years. Baby elephant twins Yad and Tukata splashed around in their first bubble bath at the Rosman Gifford Zoo in Syracuse, New York. Zoo says they are miracle twins because only less than 1% of twins survive. And it's the only zoo in the U.S. to have had a successful elephant twin birth. That's impressive. Wang Wang, the giant panda, also treated to a special ice bath scented with bubble gum. Oh, who wouldn't love that? Bubblegum and pine scent at the Adelaide Zoo in Australia on Tuesday. Also, Wang Wang also enjoyed a shower from his keepers. The zoo said they were forms of enrichment to also help keep the panda cool in the hot weather.
Well, we've got a cold start to our day. We'll start to get into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the morning, and we'll be cloudy with some occasional gusts, 15 to 20 miles an hour. We'll have showers kicking in this afternoon by about 2 o'clock. They'll be widely scattered, but they'll be out there, up to 42 for our high. As we head into this evening, we're going to get back down to 34 for a low, and those showers continuing till about 8 or 9 o'clock. Warmer weather heading into the weekend, though. Evening showers tomorrow, 54. Evening showers Sunday and 63. Morning storms Monday and 65. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, lawmakers in Missouri moved to throw up a roadblock to prevent the state's drivers from texting while driving, regardless of their age.
And we've got ourselves a pretty cold morning out there, but at least the roads are clear. We've also got some rain on the way and warmer temperatures. We'll talk about all of that coming up.
12% of people who suffer a widowmaker heart attack outside the hospital survive. KOAM's Shagun Bamadale brings us the story of one such survivor.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner, coming up on 6:01 on this finally Friday in the 4 states.
It is Friday.
It is about time it got here, but unfortunately it is a very cold Friday across the 4 states. MoDOT camera 20th and Range line is showing us. Doesn't look cold, right? It's one of those, optical illusions where you look out your window and it seems fine, and then you step outside and realize that the temperature is actually 23 degrees. My box has disappeared again. That little white box. Well, I'll read this out to you. Feels like 13. Visibility is 10 miles, dew point's 15, humidity 72%, pressure is 30 and 47/100ths of an inch, and the wind is east-northeast at 9. I don't know why it does that sometimes. I think it just doesn't like me. Here's what we got, though, or it doesn't like that it's cold. 18, Yates Center, Iola, 19, Fort Scott, 22, Parsons, 25, Miami, Neosho, 23 in Carthage. You factor in a light breeze. Look at this, feels like 3 in Iola and Yates Center, feels like 11 in Pittsburgh, 15 in Neosho, and feels a pinch warmer in Miami at 17. We will warm up a little more quickly today. We're up into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the morning. We'll also be mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy and a bit on the breezy side, gusts 15 to 20 miles an hour. Showers increase by the afternoon. They'll hang around for a while, and for some of us, it'll be a bit of a cold rain. Up to 42 for the high, so a little bit warmer today. A little bit warmer this evening, too, down to 34. Showers wrapping up by about 8, 9 o'clock. And then after that, we're just plain old cloudy. After that, all right, here we go. Evening showers Saturday up to 54. Late evening showers Sunday, making it to 63. We're watching these morning thunderstorms on Monday, which we'll talk more about here in a little bit. 65, mid-60s through Wednesday, and then cold again Thursday, 42. Some light showers, maybe a light wintry mix possible. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Drivers in Missouri could soon face legal punishment for texting while driving, no matter their age. The Missouri Senate has advanced a bill that would ban drivers, regardless their age, from reading, sending, or writing a text by handheld devices. Now, currently, any drivers under 21 years old are not allowed to use their phones and can be stopped and given a citation. The ban would not apply to law enforcement or people using hands-free voice-activated mode.
There's no text that's so important that it's worth giving up your life for. We've seen those. We've seen fatal car crashes, and we've seen what the last message was on their phone, and it's never worth dying for.
It goes next to the full Senate for debate and vote. When Rick Moore, the capital acquisitions coordinator for Freeman Health, was feeling anxious, lightheaded, and suffering from acid reflux pain, he drove to Freeman Urgent Care in Webb City to get checked out. And after undergoing an EKG at the clinic, the doctor told him he was having a heart attack.
A lot of times are the elephant sitting on your chest, your left arm in a vice, profuse sweating. I didn't have that. You know, I had the what I thought was acid reflux. That's why I really wasn't overly concerned until it progressively worse, became worse. So I guess a takeaway from this is, you know, you've got to follow what your body tells you to do. God gave you brain and common sense for a reason. Act on it.
Only 12% of people who suffer this type of heart attack outside the hospital can't survive, and Rick was one of them. We're happy for him. Well, authorities are revealing new information about the Florida man accused of fatally shooting 3 people dead on Wednesday, including a television news reporter and a 9-year-old girl. Those who knew the slain reporter are reacting to his death. Christian Benavides reports.
Keith Melvin Moses sits behind bars in Central Florida a day after allegedly carrying out a deadly shooting rampage.
Bullets don't only kill victims, they rip apart entire families.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office released police body cam footage showing Moses being arrested. Authorities say the 19-year-old shot and killed a woman, identified as 38-year-old Natasha Augustine, Wednesday morning in the Pine Hills neighborhood as she sat in a car with a friend. 5 hours later, the suspect returned to the scene, injuring photographer Jesse Walden and killing 24-year-old reporter Dylan Lyons, who were there on assignment. A local TV reporter was overcome with emotion.
This is every reporter's absolutely worst nightmare.
Corey Galikowski attended middle and high school with Lyons.
He was always kind and always, full of energy and acceptance.
For unknown reasons, police say Moses also entered a home and shot a mother and her 9-year-old daughter.
They were transported to the hospital where unfortunately and tragically 9-year-old Tiana Major died from her injuries.
At Thursday's news conference, Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings announced officials will reestablish a citizen safety task force to address gun violence.
We are committed to utilizing our funding, your tax dollars, in an appropriate way to address these issues going forward long term.
Authorities say Moses had a lengthy criminal history, which included gun charges. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Photojournalist Jesse Walden and the mother of the 9-year-old remain hospitalized in critical condition. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It is available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, millions of snow geese have descended on a Missouri wildlife refuge. The Loess Bluff National Wildlife Refuge just north of Kansas City has become the temporary home to millions of snow geese, making their way north as spring approaches. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, over 1 million of the birds landed at the refuge last week. That number doubled a week later. At Loess Bluff, the snow geese often swirl in unison as they descend upon the prairie wetland. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, winter weather lays a blanket of deep snow across the country, and while parts of the Midwest dig their way out, one state braces for a coming blizzard. Plus, did you get your flu vaccine this year? Some experts are saying this year's version worked well. We've got the details. And the 4 states can expect a few more days of winter temperatures. Chris has more on when we can expect a warmer reprieve. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, wild winter weather is blanketing much of the country, affecting millions of Americans. And parts of the upper Midwest are digging out, while the mountain regions of Southern California are bracing for their first blizzard. Jared Hill has more.
Okay. That's not the way that you want to go down that hill.
Near record snowfall of almost 11 inches in Oregon left drivers stranded for hours.
Call the tow truck and they said might be 10 hours before we get you.
Further south in San Jose, California, families played in rare snow flurries. The San Diego National Weather Service office issued its first blizzard warning for San Bernardino County, where one group of teens made their first snowman.
It's usually just green and pretty, but never snowy.
Parts of Los Angeles were pummeled with hail, including the famous Hollywood sign.
My mother told me, get out and do all your errands early because Friday and Saturday, the weather is going to be terrible.
Snow blanketed the upper Midwest, with folks in Minnesota digging out from as much as 21 inches of snow in some areas.
It's unbelievable. It's quite a load here. My snowblower is not keeping up very well.
Meanwhile, tragedy in Michigan. A volunteer firefighter there died after coming into contact with a downed power line. Hundreds of thousands of residents in that state still don't have power. Icy conditions also brought down power lines and trees in Buffalo, New York, and travelers at the local airport faced cancellations and delays.
I'm pretty tired. I waited an hour right now on the plane.
According to FlightAware, more than 1,100 flights in the U.S. were canceled yesterday. More than 7,000 were delayed. Jared Hill, CBS News.
While there were snow and freezing temperatures throughout the northern parts of the country yesterday, the southeast experienced high temperatures. For instance, Raleigh, North Carolina tied its record at 77 degrees. That's according to the National Weather Service. And that's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a really cold start for us. The sun's slowly starting to rise, as you can see behind the banner here from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. We do have warmer weather on the way. We also have rain and storm chances on the way. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast as soon as the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Let me back this up, actually, because it is time for weather trivia. So we want to know about this. See, some folks say, dew on the grass, rain won't come to pass. Why do they say that, though? Is it because the atmosphere is already saturated? It's already rain? It's derived from voodoo rituals? Or because of high barometric pressure? We're going to take a look at the answer in just a moment. Camera at 7th and Rangeline, we're looking okay, but cold. Same here. 20th and Rangeline, MoDOT camera there. You can see the sun slowly starting to peak up. But as mentioned, it is quite cold. I still need to figure out what's wrong with this box. But we're 23 in Joplin. Feeling like 13, though, with an east-northeast breeze at 9 miles an hour. Let's take a look at temperatures across the area if we dare. 18 Yates Center, Iola, 21 Chanute, Neodesha, 25 in Miami, Neosho, and 23 in Carthage. You factor in a light breeze. Feels like 3 in Yates Center and Iola, 6 in Fort Scott, 13 Columbus, and feels like 13 in Carthage. All right, as we get our day started, we're going to warm up a little more quickly than yesterday. We're going to be getting into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the morning. Still some wind gusts, 15, 20 miles an hour, so just be aware it's going to feel quite frigid out there. Cloudy skies through the morning. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to look at some scattered showers beginning to develop, and they'll be scattered across the regions. We're not talking just a blanket of rain, but there will be numerous scattered showers out there and a bit of a cold rain. 42 degrees for the high. The good news is, for the most part, we should remain warm enough that this falls as rain and not as wintry precipitation. 34 for our low tonight. Showers persisting through about 8, 9 o'clock, and then we'll just be cloudy after that. As we head into the weekend, as promised, we do have warmer weather on the way, but we also have more showers. We're going to be cloudy through most of our Saturday, but again, warmer. Maybe some evening showers Saturday, very early Sunday morning. And then Sunday, two things we're keeping an eye on. This, not such a big deal. We're looking at the possibility of a few scattered showers late Sunday evening. It's what's happening out to our west that we're keeping an eye on. Our friends at the Storm Prediction Center, they handle severe weather tracking across the United States, have put a good portion of central Oklahoma into a pretty higher end risk for severe thunderstorms. They're really anticipating that. What the question is how much instability they'll have when they get closer to us, and if they'll be able to hold their own as they get closer to us. So we're looking at maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. A line of showers and thunderstorms rolling into the area. The question is whether or not they'll be severe or not. Now, as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center has gone ahead and for Sunday, which would be Sunday night into Monday morning for us, put out an elevated risk for severe thunderstorms for southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and clipping extreme southwestern Missouri. And then we have a lower end risk for severe storms further east of that. So we will continue to monitor this. We're still a few days out. A lot of things can change between now and then, but just something to put on your radar that we are watching that the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms early Monday morning. Back to our trivia question. Dew on the grass, rain won't come to pass. Why do people say that? Well, if you happen to guess that is because of high barometric pressure, you would be correct. In fact, fair weather due to high pressure usually allows for radiative cooling at night, which results in dew being formed early in the morning, and it's typically an indicator that that fair weather will last for several more hours at least. All right, 54 tomorrow, 63 Sunday, 65 on Monday, breezy Tuesday, mid-60s through Wednesday, cooler on Thursday, down to 42, maybe some light showers, a possible wintry mix, down to 22 for the low. But worry not, we're going to turn around again and start to warm up. 45 Friday, so maybe some light morning snow, light wintry mix Friday morning. And then as we head into the weekend, temperatures jump quickly. We've got decent skies, 55 Saturday and 64 by next Sunday. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, people who live in places with high levels of air pollution have a 25% greater risk of developing Parkinson's disease. That's the finding of a preliminary study in Arizona involving more than 22 million people. Researchers identified the Mississippi-Ohio Valley area as a hotspot. They say the region has some of the nation's highest levels of fine particle matter pollution. Two new studies show the vaccine worked. The vaccine for this flu season worked well. The combined data finds vaccine reduced the risk of flu illness, requiring a doctor's visits by 54% for kids and adults younger than 65. For children alone, the vaccine reduced the risk of symptomatic illness by 71%. Skipping breakfast may not be a good idea. In tests on mice, researchers at Mount Sinai in New York found that missing a meal triggers a negative response in the brain that could weaken immune cells and make it more difficult to fight off infections. Well, more expectant mothers are being diagnosed with congenital heart disease. Michael George shares one woman's survival story and how going to the doctor saved her life and her baby's.
Marion Smith is a yoga instructor, so when she was 2 months pregnant and found herself struggling to breathe, she knew something was terribly wrong.
I couldn't really go anywhere outside of my apartment because I'd be so short of breath. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't do yoga without feeling faint.
Marion went to see cardiologist Dan Halpern at NYU Langone Health. The diagnosis shocked her. Congenital heart disease, a tiny hole in her heart. Dr. Halpern says she needed treatment.
The procedure itself was done with the minimal amount of radiation that could be used for it, and there was also fetal baby protection.
Surgeons used a catheter to repair the hole when she was 18 weeks along.
How have you felt since the procedure?
Amazing. It was like a breath of fresh air. Even when I came to, I knew that in a couple weeks I will be feeling better and I can celebrate my pregnancy and I can have the delivery that I wanted.
A few months later, she gave birth to a healthy boy, Edenara. Her pregnancy helped reveal a heart problem that can go undetected, causing 150,000 strokes a year.
Nowadays, congenital heart disease is among the most prevalent conditions that young women of childbearing age could have.
Dr. Halpern advises expectant mothers to see a doctor if they experience shortness of breath, chest pain, or heart palpitations. Marion hopes others learn from her experience.
If something doesn't feel right, speak up, advocate for yourself, get your heart checked, don't ignore it.
Proactive steps that could save 2 lives. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
About 1 in 4 people are born with a similar hole in their heart, but in most cases it doesn't cause any health issues and requires no treatment. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got ourselves a pretty cold start to the day across the region. 18 Yates Center, Iola, 22 Parsons, 21 Pittsburgh, Lamar, 25 Miami, 24 Neosho, and even with some light breezes out there with the occasional gust, making it feel like 4 Yates Center, Iola, 5 in Fort Scott, 7 in Nevada, 15 Miami, and feels like 15 in Neosho. Now we will warm up through the morning, if you can call it that, into the upper 20s, lower 30s. We will be cloudy. We'll have those occasional gusts, 15 to 20 miles an hour. As we head into the afternoon, though, we're going to see some scattered showers out there by about 2 o'clock, and they'll be all over the region. Not a blanket of rain, but quite a few scattered showers, making it up to 42 degrees. As we head into this evening, we're going to drop back down progressively. We're seeing those scattered showers hold on through about 8, 9 o'clock. We'll drop back down to a low of 34. Now, out to the west and northwest, if temperatures drop a little quicker, we could see the possibility of a light wintry mix. Shouldn't add up to much, but just be aware. Could be some slick spots out there. Evening showers tomorrow, much warmer, 54. Even warmer Sunday, late evening showers, 63. We're watching those thunderstorm chances as we head into Monday morning. 65 for the high, mid-60s all the way up to Wednesday. And then we get to Thursday and we get another taste of winter because, I mean, it is still technically winter. 42 by Thursday, maybe some light showers, possibly even a light wintry mix across the area. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, getting ready for spring cleaning. KOAM's Amber Jenkins sits down with the Pittsburgh community members to see their plans for a citywide renovation project.
And the sun beginning to rise, as we can see on the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, but that still doesn't change the fact that it is bitterly cold out there. We'll have the latest on our shower chances today and that warm-up coming up.
And Joplin's Dream Theater troupe brings the heat with its newest comedy production set in the Stone Age.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is cold outside yet again this morning. But I mean, the good news is we're not really much colder than where we were yesterday. The problem is we're dealing with a little bit more wind, making it feel a lot colder outside. MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. You can see it's starting to get a little lighter out there as the sun begins to rise across the region. However, that's not going to have an immediate impact on our temperatures. As you can see, it's still quite cold. 23 in Joplin. I also fixed the box. We're at 13 is what it feels like with an east-northeast breeze at 9 miles an hour. Cold across the area. 18 Yates Center, Iola, 19 Fort Scott, 21 Pittsburgh, 25 Miami, and 24 in Neosho. And as we look at feels like temperatures, yeah, not any better. 4 Yates Center, Iola, 5 Fort Scott, 7 Nevada, 13 in Columbus, and 15 in Miami. So a bitterly cold start for us. We're going to warm up a little faster than we did yesterday, and I mean a little faster. So we'll get into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the morning. We'll be cloudy. We'll still have those occasional gusts of 15 to 20 miles an hour, so I'll make it feel even colder. Showers start to build in by this afternoon. Not a blanket rain event, but numerous scattered showers, so there will be quite a few of them out there by 2 o'clock. 42 for the high. As we head into this evening, temperatures will drop again. Showers tapering off about 8, 9 o'clock. Now to the west and northwest, where it's a little colder this morning. If it gets a little colder, a little quicker this evening, could see a light transition to a light wintry mix. Shouldn't add up to much, but could cause some slick spots out there. We're down to 34 for our low. Looking ahead, though, as promised, a warm-up on the way, starting as early as tomorrow, as we make it up to 54. Evening showers possible. More evening showers possible Sunday. We're talking late evening up to 63. We're watching these thunderstorm chances very early Monday morning. Make it up to 65. Mid-60s through Wednesday, and then cold again by next Thursday, 42. And we might even see another light wintry mix across the region. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Pittsburgh kicks off a citywide cleanup initiative led by Mayor Dr. Ron Sigley. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to community members about their ideas on how to improve the city.
The city of Pittsburgh held a community conversation to discuss how to improve the city's cleanliness and other solutions.
We've got a lot of folks turning up this evening, and much more than I expected. We obviously have a lot of interest in people.
Residents, organizations, and community leaders sat in groups and were told to think of ideas and solutions to improve Pitt.
Split it up into various areas. That way everybody would identify with a certain area. And that way we can get ideas more specific to that area than rather general to the whole city.
Animal control, homelessness management, and better trash disposal were the biggest talking points from all groups, all factors to create a respectable community.
Well, I guess one thing I did write on a sticky note was whenever you have a clean community, when people that live here and when people come to visit, they will literally point out, wow, this is a clean community. I mean, I do that whenever I go places. And I just think that's one of the best compliments your city can get.
Riley is a part of Pittsburgh State University student government and is actively empowering the student body to positively impact the community.
This community cares about our university so much that they want to represent all the time, and the big event that we do gives them a reason to want to support us every year, aside from football and basketball.
This community discussion is just the start. The city of Pittsburgh is planning another discussion next month. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
PSU students are also planning a Help the Community event on April 1st. Well, it is National FFA Week, and McDonald County schools are celebrating with a luncheon. On Thursday, FFA students were treated to a lunch in the high school ag building to thank them for all of their hard work.
It gives us a chance to meet the new transfers into our ag program, meet some of the students we hadn't quite met yet, and it's the unofficial kickoff for our contest season.
All this week, FFA students have been taking part in different dress-up events, including a flannel shirt day, dress up as their future career, and wearing all blue. Well, Joplin's Dream Theater Troupe is preparing for its latest production, Firebringer. It's a comedy set at the dawn of humanity, focused on a tribe of cave people trying to survive. Now, one of the tribe members goes on a quest to become the Firebringer.
She is an inventor in like caveman times. She's very ambitious. She only wants to move forward and be lazy rather than do all the hard work that being a caveman entails. Things go a little wrong for her, but she picks it up at the end.
Performances of Firebringer will be on March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, starting at 7:30 p.m. General admission tickets will cost $20. The performance is for mature audiences only. I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, that's okay. You gotta keep me away from those kinds of shows. They scare me and give me nightmares.
Are you afraid of fire?
You know, I used to have nightmares about my parents' house burning down, so.
Oh, wow.
Frequently have nightmares.
Okay, well, mature, you would be okay. Just don't bring your kids. We're just saying it for mature audiences, don't bring your kids. All right. Well, this morning we're discussing, like a dork, life accomplishments.
Maddie Ripley likes to spend her Saturdays pinning opponents down on a wrestling mat. As a junior at Oceanside High School in Rockland, Maddie is the only girl on the wrestling team. She's the first girl in Maine to win an individual state title while wrestling a boy, as she did it all alone, all in 1 minute and 44 seconds, as she pinned Nick Allen of Wells during Saturday's finals at the Class B championships.
I love how like states like Kansas now have female.
Yeah.
Like there's enough girls in there, they don't have to like mix. It's great.
Yeah.
Their own competition. To make the victory even sweeter, Maddie got to celebrate the title with her coach, who just happens to be her stepdad. With a super supportive family behind her, Maddie feels that she can do anything.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's something you've always wanted to accomplish? There's a number of options available to you. So far, 20% of you say pay off debt, and something not on our list. 15% of you want to publish a novel or travel the world. 10% of you want to master a new skill or volunteer or donate more. And 5% of you would like to get a new car or live in a foreign country. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
I'm going to change other to all of the above because I want to do all of those things.
Okay. Overachiever.
I would love to live in a foreign, like not just visit, but like spend like a whole 2 years in a foreign country.
That would involve getting me in a plane, and I don't do that, so.
On a boat?
They don't do transatlantic crossings really anymore.
We'll bring up the Titanic. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, there's only one way to end the week around here, and that's with the visit from our very own Shannon Becker with his big 3 stories of the week.
And we, of course, are cold as we start our day, but, you know, that's all right. We'll have Shannon Becker's stories. This is some really cool video, by the way. I've really been enjoying this. I was hoping they'd implode that building, but they didn't.
Is that the Jasper County Courts building?
Yes, it is. And we will, of course, talk about how cold it's going to get when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Welcome back. It's time to close out the week with our very own Shannon Becker and his big 3 stories. What's been happening this week?
A lot has been happening, but not as crazy as normal. But let's take a look at the big 3 stories live and breaking news. What's happening? This I thought was amazing. That's the 2nd floor of the former Joplin Courts building for Jasper County, and they're shoving debris out. They're kind of tearing out the inside of the upper floors, push it out in the parking lot, and then they sort it as they're salvaging it. A lot of people would say, well, what about the course? Well, it's just right across the parking lot. This will be part of the new parking lot. This building was built in the early 70s. It's not really historic. It's made of like cinder blocks, and that's that metal on the outside.
If it's built in the 70s, it really didn't last very long.
Well, the layout, the size, you know, you don't want a defendant in a murder trial walking, 2 inches away from the family of the victim in the hallway. And there was not, it just wasn't accustomed to today's standards for safety. So that's going to be about a month long. They started on it this last week.
I like how they start on the inside and work their way out, though.
It's like a salvage operation too, though. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First. This was the other morning on the Kansas-Missouri line. This grain truck was coming into Missouri and crossed the center line, Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers tell us, and clipped a pickup truck. Debris hit another car, and then it went off the semi went off the road and overturned. The driver was not injured. Now that's one of the trucks that was damaged. If you look here in the distance, you can see there in the field, that is the grain truck as it overturned.
Do we know what type of grain it was?
I think it was like a corn sort of thing.
I mean, they might have an extra corn crop right there.
Yeah,
too.
A lot of deer probably are enjoying the niblets, I guess, overnight.
There you go.
Our number 1 story. I can't stop talking about it.
Oh,
Everybody's looking forward to the movie theater. It's an 8 cinema complex going to be built at East 32nd Street and Hammonds Boulevard. Right now, it's just kind of like nothing's really ever been there. This is what it should look like maybe. The B&B theaters will have heated leather seats. Now, those are some apartments they're building right to the south of it. The other day, the Joplin City Council was addressed by Woodsonia Joplin, and they kind of updated them also on Menards, the property. You can see the map here. B&B is going to be up there right, and then Menards there. They've got 25 acres there, which is on the west side, right along the railroad tracks. It's
going to be exciting.
Yeah, it'll be really, really, really great. And then our bonus story of the week. Have you ever ate at Jersey Mike's before?
No.
It's a favorite of a lot of people. It's a different kind of sub shop, and they're coming to Joplin. It's not going super fast right now. That's the inside. People are like, well, how's the progress? Well, there's not a lot of progress. I think the subcontractors they're waiting on right now, it looks like, but they can build that out pretty fast. There's no exact date yet. It's at 17th and Range Line in between 5 Star Nutrition and the AT&T store here in Joplin, right across from Academy.
Okay.
So some of the signatures that you might, if you haven't had a Jersey Mike's, they have like a signature sauce. It's like a red vinegar sauce they have, and then they cut the meat right there in front of everybody,
Where's
so it's
the
all fresh.
closest one at Jersey Mike's?
There's Rogers and Springfield, Tulsa. So it's about time, maybe. They have about 2,000 across the country.
All right, well, that'll be an exciting addition.
And you might know it's based in New Jersey.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's not a lot of mystery right there. Not
All
a lot
right.
of mystery.
Well, if you don't mind sticking around, we'll have you again in our Fox show.
I'll be here.
We will be right back.
Finally, some Friday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to begin in Jasper with Chris Dudalski celebrating birthday number 1. Happy birthday.
And it's a second birthday celebration for Amelia Charles. Amelia is in Carthage.
And we've got Millie Brisbane celebrating number 5 in McCune, and it says the family loves you. Happy birthday, Millie.
All right, in Columbus, Ainsley Hale is 7 strong this year. Ainsley is a first grader at Park Elementary. Birthday wishes coming with love from Mom, Dad, and Jax.
And we've got Whitley Stone celebrating a birthday today as well. Happy birthday, Whitley.
All right, Tesla Tinsley celebrating birthday number 10, and Tesla is up in Fort Scott.
And Josie Johnson celebrating number 11 over in Fort Scott as well. Happy birthday.
Heading over to Humboldt to celebrate a birthday number 11 with Kinley Bond, with love from Grandma and Grandpa Bond.
And KOAM celebrating birthday number 13 in Frontenac. Happy birthday, Kale.
That's a pretty cool picture there. I like that. And Landon Wilson, a 6th grader at Westview Elementary in Neosho, celebrating welcome to the teenage years. 13 years old for Landon Wilson. I got a note here. It says he shoots archery, plays soccer and baseball. Well-rounded kid there. Love, Mom.
And we've got Allie Carlskin celebrating number 15 in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday, Allie.
Annie Westervelt celebrating a birthday in Baxter Springs with her husband and son there in that picture.
And then I just happen to know this young lady. That's my age. She's 35 this year.
Oh.
She might be a little upset about that. We share the same age for about 2 weeks, but that is my wife, Amber. How she has put up with me for so long is a mystery, but a very, very happy birthday to you as you celebrate number 35 today. Number 35.
Amber, Chris listed your age correctly. He did not put 36 on there. I can show you the paper, I'm sure. Happy birthday, Amber. Erica Johnson is 41 in Joplin. Happy birthday, Erica.
And we've got Stacy Kenyon celebrating number 51 over in Hutchinson, Kansas. Happy birthday, Stacy.
And out in Chanute, Mary Bob Godinez is celebrating birthday number 73. Hope you have a wonderful day, Mary Bob.
And Cirilla Cooper celebrating number 74 in Chanute. Happy birthday.
And in Carthage, Jerry Alsdorf turning 85 years old. Happy birthday to Mr. Alsdorf with lots of love from your wife and all of your family.
We've also got Adelina Johnson celebrating. Boy, the party is in the bus on this last part of our list here. Adelina Johnson celebrating in Columbus.
Alice Cooper is also in the bus. Happy birthday, Alice.
As well as Pat Nigman celebrating, you guessed it, in the bus.
And Rosemary Vanata also in Columbus. Happy birthday.
It is a big party in the bus today. We want to celebrate everybody's special day. Tanya, what do they need to do to make sure we can celebrate with them?
That's right. All they have to do is send us an email to birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com. Send all your details to us through that path.
And you can also, of course, go to that web link and submit them electronically if you would like. As a matter of fact, that's what Amber did because she called me to make sure it went through correctly. So she submitted her own birthday. I don't know what that says, but she wanted to make sure I didn't forget because I forget. So that's what she did. You know what else you can do at our website?
She's gonna think you went in and changed the age on her. I know for a fact she's not 36.
She is not. She absolutely is not. Well, you can also sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club at our website. And you get special deals from local businesses. You also get a really cool birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So just go over to the KOAMnewsnow.com website and sign up for that KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, it's time for some weather. Take a look. We got a nice sunrise, 7th and range line. You can see the light getting a little brighter out there on the MoDOT camera at 20th and range line. And it's still cold though. 23, feels like 13 with an east-northeast breeze at about 9 miles an hour. Cold temperatures across the area, 17 Iola, 18 Yates Center, 21 in Pittsburgh, 25 Miami and Neosho. Factoring in a light breeze, feels like 3 in Iola, 4 in Yates Center, 7 Fort Scott, Nevada, and feels like 15 in Neosho. So a bitterly cold start for us today. We'll start to warm up, though. Upper 20s, lower 30s. Winds gusting 15, 20 miles an hour on occasion out there. Cloudy skies. We'll have showers start to build in this afternoon, say around 2 o'clock. And those will hold on for a while, scattered across the area, up to 42 for our high. This evening, some of our western and northwestern counties, if the temperature drops a little quicker, this could translate into a light wintry mix for some of you. Shouldn't add up to much, but could definitely cause some slick spots out there, so do be cautious this evening. Rain tapers off by by about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. We're down to 34 for our overnight low. It does start to warm up, though. We got evening showers tomorrow and 54. Evening showers Sunday, 63. We're watching these thunderstorm chances Monday morning. Otherwise, 65, mid-60s through Wednesday. Cold again next Thursday, 42. Maybe some light showers and a light wintry mix. Well, guess what? We did it. We made it to Friday. That sounds like the perfect reason to celebrate. And we've celebrated the birthdays and anniversaries, but now we're going to give you a sneak peek at a heartwarming story of Cash Whitley, an unhoused man diagnosed with cancer. CBS News lead national correspondent David Begnaud learns how a group of strangers united to help care for Whitley and save his life. All of that coming up on CBS Mornings.
You have had an incredible amount of kindness shown your way.
Here lately, I sure have, and I am grateful for every bit of it. Didn't have money to rent a place to live. I didn't have, a way to get started. So I simply wound up on the sidewalk.
Could you find a job?
No. After 10 years with the carnival, I had no verifiable job references. I have no address, and at the time, no phone number. No, the employers they have their standards, and I'm below it. I have been told, go away. No, you can't have a job application because you're homeless.
And how does that feel, Cash?
Actually, if I hear it one more time, I'm going to melt down because it's wrong. Because if I'm actually a human being, I should have the same chances as everybody else.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Joplin officially opens up nominations for its Historic Preservation Awards. Nominations are accepted in 3 categories: the Leslie Simpson Award, the Jeff and Carolina Neal Award, and the Murfreesburg Award. You can find nomination forms through the city's website. The nominating period is open through March 31st. Well, you may have noticed gas prices in the 4 states dropping recently. AAA credits the drop to the price of a barrel of oil falling into the mid-$70 range. Currently, the Missouri average for a gallon of gas is $3.03. Arkansas sits at $3.04. For Oklahoma, it's $3.07. And for Kansas, the average is $3.11. Alec Baldwin pleads not guilty on Thursday to charges of involuntary manslaughter in the shooting death of a cinematographer on the movie set Rust. The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, is also expected to plead not guilty today. And activist Aaron Brockovich is set to visit Ohio today to meet with local residents affected by the Norfolk Southern train derailment. The National Transportation Safety Board announced it will hold a hearing in East Palestine this spring that will include witnesses. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, grab your coat. It is cold. We'll warm up eventually. Showers this afternoon, 42 for a high. Showers will continue into the early evening, maybe a wintry mix for some of our western counties, so watch out for some slick spots. Rain tapers off about 8, 9 o'clock. We're going to drop back down to a low of 34. And as we look ahead, warmer weather on the way as early as tomorrow. 54 evening showers, 63 Sunday evening showers. We are watching the possibility for some strong thunderstorms early Monday morning, 65, mid-60s through Wednesday, and then Thursday, it's another slap in the face from Mother Nature as we drop back down to 42. Could see some light showers, maybe even a light wintry mix out there.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making brown sugar banana cake in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
That sounds pretty darn good. Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Secretary of State Antony Blinken discusses America's support for Ukraine on the 1-year anniversary of the invasion. That's ahead on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues this morning. And just in case you missed it, or maybe you just love Shannon Becker.
Who doesn't?
Well, of course, yeah. He's making a return trip to the studio to recap his big 3 stories of the week.
Plus, we're going to take you behind the scenes, see how a group of young women want to revolutionize the music industry. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here Monday morning, bright and early at 5 a.m.
And we'll do it again today at noon.